Today we're going to be talking about tracking the new customer journey with the Facebook Pixel. Now let's go over course objectives. Understanding the Facebook Pixel, what it is, and how to track your site's visitors through your sales funnel. I want you to learn how to use standard events and custom conversions for tracking specific events and actions that the site visitors may take, i.e. making a purchase and becoming a lead. Also, we're going to gain a basic understanding of how the Pixel is going to work inside of multiple CMS systems and how to test to make sure it's working accordingly. Now, I want to talk a moment just about the course journey, but one of the things I just want to connect with you for just a moment all about is really about this entire Pixel thing from a 20,000-foot view. Now, in my opinion, in my personality test, I am a creative person that loves to create. So the tracking is extremely important so we can understand what's going on, but it's not usually one of my most favorite subjects that I like to talk about. And that seems to be the case with a lot of the agency clients that we have as well. A lot of people like to say that they have tracking installed, but the meaning means so many different things that many times it's lost in translation. Now I'm going to be very open and transparent with you. Inside of our advertising agency, over the last decade, this is not an exaggerated number. I can count 4 people who have come to us who've had their tracking completely intact. A lot of times what I see is when people install tracking, the teams may change or different things may change with their overall system, and someone either doesn't have the overall vision of how the funnel is laid out, or someone's not held accountable, or someone's not asking the right questions. Everyone assumes everyone's doing something else, and this whole assumption business gets us into, well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this might not be the most exciting part of the course for myself, but it's extremely important for you to look at. And I'm just going to be very open with you here. A lot of times people assume they know what they're doing with tracking, and we start talking about the same language and labels that we think we're all talking about the same thing, but it's different. And lots of stuff gets lost in translation. So as you're watching this video and as we're going through this training right here, please pay very specific attention to the labels that I put on things. It's going to be very important as we go throughout the course. The labeling of how we go through and track is extremely important, again, because a lot of people make assumptions. So I hope you enjoyed this part of the course. We want to make it really fun and easy for you, but let's all get on the same page with tracking so you can be literally one of those people out there that have kind of started to figure it out. All right, let's jump right on in. Why do we want to use a Facebook Pixel? Well, we want to track the activity of your website visitors and those who came from a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, or Facebook has lots of other placements. We can actually tell exactly where someone clicked on an ad and exactly where they became a lead. We want to be able to measure the results of the ad. And also, the Pixel is going to be all-knowing. What we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to build audiences, retargeting audiences, so we can target people at specific times at specific locations. Now, the other thing is we want to make sure that we are feeding the algorithm to optimize targeting to reach literally the right person at the right time. This is going to generate us leads and sales at a much lower cost than just advertising to just the plain old cold market. So what is the Facebook Pixel exactly? Well, the Facebook Pixel is just a line of code, and it's unique to your ad account that lives within your website. So when someone visits a web page containing the Pixel, they trigger a Pixel to fire. Now, the firing event is going to send a signal back to Facebook that the site visitor completed a desired action. What this is basically like, I used to make a really cheesy slide that my business partner no longer allows me to use. And what that is it shows someone walking around essentially getting a sticker put on them every time they do a certain task. So imagine when someone goes to your main homepage. Well, that tracking pixel, it's kind of like a sticker. It's going to be stuck on someone where they travel throughout the internet. Now, Facebook has actually made their tracking code a little bit more advanced than a lot of other people out there. I'm not going to dive deep into that right now, but just remember, one of the most important things to getting started with the Pixel is making sure you at least have the Pixel installed site-wide. We want the Facebook algorithm. Literally, your best advertising partner in the world is the Facebook algorithm. We want to make sure that Facebook is understanding everything that you're doing. So where are you going to get a Pixel from? You're going to go to your business manager settings inside of Ads Manager and click Pixels underneath People and Assets. Again, this may already be set up, but I want to make sure that we're going step by step to understand exactly how it happens. It's the only way that you can fix something when it's broke, is to understand how was it set up in the first place. So we don't want to make any assumptions. We want to click to create a pixel. Type in the name of your pixel. check the box to agree to the Facebook terms of use. Click Next. It's really very easy. For most people out there, they're just going to have one pixel dedicated for their entire business. Now, there are times where you may use multiple pixels for multiple businesses or multiple business ventures. For instance, if you're selling cat food and you're also selling kids' shoes, you may use 2 different pixels. 95% of the time, you're just going to use one. Out of the last 10 years that we've had agency clients, there have been 3 clients overall, 3 that have used multiple pixels. So typically, in your case, I'd probably stick with just one unless there's some extreme circumstance where you would need multiple different pixels. So what's going to happen next is you're going to start installing the pixel on your website. Click Setup Now. So how does the pixel work exactly? Again, I want to make sure that we're all on the exact same page with this labeling. So the base code should be added site-wide. Typically this is in the header, and that traffic's going to be visiting your funnel through your cart pages, click funnels, lead pages, whatever you have set up. Now what's going to happen is this is the way that Facebook's going to know what's happening on your site specifically. This code, by the way, is installed on millions and millions of sites out there. So Facebook knows what people are visiting, not just on your site, but think about this, even on your competitor sites, even on people who are remotely, possibly even kind of interested in your subject matter. So setting up the pixel just on your site is important, but it's feeding the algorithm for the entire ecosystem to work right. See, what's going to happen is once that pixel's on your site, Facebook's going to start looking, what are people doing? Now, don't just think about clicks, think about influence. Facebook's going to be able to tell how long has someone spent on your site? What do they do on your site? Did they scroll down? Did they click? Did they watch videos? What did they do specifically? Again, we're feeding the algorithm. We're not just tracking clicks. It's very important to mention. Now, what's going to happen next is Facebook's going to feed that pixel over to your website. Your website's going to feed that information back over to Facebook literally in fractions of a second. Let's dive into 2 different types of conversion tracking events. On the left-hand side is standard events. On the right-hand side is custom conversions. Now, let's take a look at the left. The left is general labeling by Facebook. For example, we may label something a lead or a purchase. Well, that's a general label. That's what the standard conversions are all about. That is putting the base code on your site and telling Facebook, okay, here's a purchase or here's a lead. Now, the custom conversion specifically is customizing what that lead may mean. That may mean, hey, I want to get leads for baby shoes, or I may want to get leads for car parts. So a lead is not necessarily just a lead to you because leads mean many different things. So what Facebook's going to do is we're going to put a general label for leads with standard conversions. Custom conversions is we're going to be able to set up conversions customized for exactly what we need so we can understand specifically what did this sale mean or what did this lead mean. Let me show you a couple of examples of how this works. The first thing is we're going to jump into option 1, the custom conversions. We're going to go ahead, go into your ads manager and click on custom conversions. What's going to happen is you're going to see a place to create this custom conversion. We're going to go ahead and click on that. Now what's going to happen here is we're going to say, okay, all traffic that comes into the URL that ends with thank you, we know that's a thank you lead page, or it could say thank you dash lead. All we need to do is just put in the extension right here, thank you. Now the name, thank you page lead. I'm going to assign that as a category because with custom conversions, Facebook can see, okay, you set up a URL, you set up a goal, but what should that label be so we can tell the algorithm what to do with it? Well, we want to label that as a lead. To us, it's not a general lead, but to the algorithm of Facebook, it's going to put it in that bucket of lead so Facebook can start optimizing. Here's a key point. Just imagine if you start setting out a brand new lead campaign for baby shoes. Well, if Facebook has never seen people opt in for baby shoes for your lead magnet, how does Facebook know what to optimize for? But if you start to optimize for just general leads, Facebook will look at this and say, oh, we've seen leads come from this site. This may be a different type of lead, but let's just start optimizing for overall leads. And we'll start to see leads start to pile in for that custom conversion. See, what's going to happen is once we set up the custom conversion and we set up exactly how we want to label it and what category we want to put it in, now what's going to happen is we can set up lots of different categories for those customized events. Well, the standard events are just the general labels. So we want to make sure that we set up the general labels according to what they mean for us. So for example, what specifically is view content? Well, for me, view content's when someone looks at one of our blogs. View content may be something a little bit differently for you. What's really important that these standard events right here, that the terminology internally on your team, that they're all the same. So what do you use view content for? What do you use search for? What about add to cart? For me, add to cart is when someone looks at a product, they add to cart, they put in their name and their email address, then they have to hit a next button to go to initiate checkout. So I know they added it to cart, they initiated checkout, and then I know the purchase. So it's very important internally for you to get the labels really specific here. The add to cart, the initiate checkout, the add payment info, the purchase, and the lead. Again, what you're doing is internally, you're putting a label on these very general buckets, and you're communicating with the algorithm, okay, these general buckets are good enough for the algorithm to start to learn with. All right, and there's all these different ones that Facebook has come out with as well. Complete registration, contact, customizable product, donate, find location. All of these distinctions at the end of the day are up to your own labeling system. Just remember, we're putting it in a bucket that's general to tell the algorithm, overall, here's how I want you to treat this type of traffic, or this is the way I want you to judge this type of traffic. All right, so what do standard events actually track? Well, view content, we can actually track what they view. We can track what they searched for. We can track, did they add it to the cart? We can really track, did they initiate the checkout? Or did they add payment? The most important thing, of course, is, did they buy? And when they bought, what was the exact amount that they bought? So many clients miss this, and they don't put in the actual amount of what people bought. It's very important so you can see, of course, what your ROI is. All right, funnel tracking example. So we have our ad, we have our pixel, it's placed on our landing page. So someone's gonna click on our ad, it's gonna jump over to the landing page. Now, from there, Facebook all of a sudden is gonna see your content, literally what people are doing within half a second, even less than that. Now, when someone decides to opt in, that's gonna take them straight to the thank you page, and it's gonna let Facebook know, this person just became a lead in real time. They just became a lead for us. Great. Now, what's gonna happen next is from the thank you page, is they're gonna go down to the sales page. So now that we can see that the people went to the landing page, we can see that they progressed through to the thank you page, and they went to the content page, i.e. the sales page. So just right here, Facebook's able to not only track that they went to these different pages, but Facebook again is tracking how much time are they spending on the site? What are they exactly doing on the site? Where are they clicking on the site? Facebook's gathering a lot of information on the user, many times that we can't even see. So again, this is much more than just tracking. It's really tracking the entire behavior and reporting back to Facebook of what's going on. So see, all these activities are reported back to Facebook. Now we can start to segment and track traffic. Where do we want people who have been to the sales page, where do we want them to go next? So let's take another look at a funnel tracking example here, especially when they come back to the cart, right? The exciting thing is they're literally jumping from place to place, but we're able to see where do they go, what are they doing. Now we're going to be able to retarget people exactly where they're at. Again, this is only able to happen once we set up the entire pixel. From there, for initiate checkout, here's where we have the purchase page. This is where all the magic happens, right? So many people try to really understand the tracking and the lineage to make sure that the right ad is seen by the right people with the exact right landing page. We're going to show you as you continue to go out throughout the course of this training, we're really looking at influence overall. So we're really happy that people are progressing through the funnel. I'm glad that I can track them. I'm glad that I can segment them. But I don't need to know the exact perfect ad for the exact perfect sale. These are humans and they buy in lots of different areas. So I want to make sure I'm tracking the influence overall. So let's take a look at this inside of Ads Manager, for example. What's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and break this down, and we're going to be able to customize our reports because based off of our standard events or custom events, we're going to be able to see specifically what's going on in the funnel. We're going to be able to see when people land on a page, when people purchase, when they view content, when they initiate checkout. All of these are creating separate audiences, separate tracking. These are all great separate lookalike audiences. One done right, again, we're really tracking influence. Now, I'm not going to go into it here, but Facebook Analytics has become very powerful over the years, extremely in the last 12 months. So as you're checking out this video, make sure that you're also checking out some Facebook Analytics insight, because this is really where you can start taking a look at cohort information, meaning how long does it take for someone to really buy? What best days do people buy on? I could go on and the information, the behavior that you can really start to see unfold right inside of your Facebook Analytics. So when we start using pixel pixels for retargeting, essentially what's going to happen is this. Facebook is reading the data from where everyone is going. And now I get the choice to decide where do I want to send people. I'm going to stop advertising to people on my landing page if they've already been to my thank you opt-in. I'm only going to advertise to people who have not seen my sales page or my checkout page. We want to make sure that we are excluding the right traffic at the right time so we're not wasting a bunch of ad dollars. See, what we want to happen is we want to make sure that we are targeting very specific people at the right time, especially like cart abandons. So many people mess this up. Someone visits a shopping cart, they get ready for the shopping cart, and unfortunately, they don't check out and they leave. It's kind of like pushing a cart along at the shopping center. All of a sudden you fill the cart and then you get a phone call and you have to leave. That's a shopping cart abandon. We want to retarget those people with offers. They're so close to buying. Well, a lot of times what happens is they don't buy, so we want to make sure that we're running ads specifically from people who have visited that page. So let's say I want to target people who have gone to the shopping cart but decided not to buy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in to create a custom audience and I'm going to open up website traffic. Now when I open up website traffic, I'm going to say, okay, I want to go ahead and target anybody who's been within my pixel, who's initiated a checkout for the last 30 days, but did not actually purchase. So this is going to create an audience for me that I know specifically that within the last 30 days, they have gone to one page, my sales page, they have put in their credit card information, but they didn't complete the purchase. This is a very different ad that we're going to run to them. So installation options, there's lots of options out there. People are making it easier and easier to make sure the pixel's installed right. You have a manual installation. Facebook now gives you step-by-step easy instructions on how to do that. WordPress plugins, Shopify, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Google Tag Manager, just to name a few. The manual installation, if you look at this and you say, well, wait a minute, this looks complicated, talk to your person in IT, talk to the person who manages the overall site. Now, I'm going to be very cautious here. This is very important. This is a big disclaimer here. I'm working with a client right now that we're spending about $1,000 a day. For this client, it's a good amount of money. Now at $1,000 a day, all of a sudden we saw the leads stop. Well, consistently we're getting hundreds of leads a day. Something had to change. It's not the ads, something had to change. So I'm going to show you where to look to make sure that your pixel's firing. But I can't tell you how many times a plugin will be updated on a site that will cause the pixel to no longer fire. So every single day, someone in your organization should be checking your funnel. Every day, someone should be checking your funnel to make sure that that pixel is always working. And I'm going to show you where to do that. But if it's not working, make sure you check all of your updated plugins. But before you go in and just hit the update button, unless you're a system admin, make sure you're working very closely with your system admin to say, hey, I noticed that the pixel is no longer firing. I believe it may be a plugin update. Can you please help me go one by one to each individual plugin to either update them or turn them off, just so you don't hit update all and it causes lots of other issues. But this is where the issue of pixel tracking can really come in, is where you might see a plugin that is interfering with current pixel tracking. Pay very close attention to that. Don't let a week go by where an update's made on the site that someone doesn't talk to the ad department or the marketing department, and all of a sudden literally days and weeks or thousands of dollars can go by not being tracked properly. So the WordPress plugins are really quite simple. There's a plugin that you can see right here. It's really easy to install the code, and if you've used any WordPress plugins before, you know how easy that can be. Shopify installation, they've made it extremely easy to do as well. Lots of different features with Shopify have just come out just in the last couple of weeks as well. ClickFunnels installation, they make it very easy to put it right in the head. You're going to see right where the tracking code goes in with ClickFunnels, and they make it a pretty easy event just to go ahead and set up tracking throughout your entire funnel. So again, people have really understood that this Facebook pixel is pretty powerful. So everyone's really adopting to make it as easy as possible to put the pixel on their type of content. So if you're using a third-party service like a Lead Pages or a ClickFunnels or a WordPress, installation can be very clean, very, very simple. You see how simple they make it right here. Google Tag Manager is something also that we like to use. We like to use Google Tag Manager, and the main reason is a lot of times if you install on a site lots of different code, that site starts to load slower. So when someone's on their cell phone and they click on your ad, if they have to wait for the ad to load, many times they'll just leave. It's called an abandon. So what we do, this is a little bit more advanced, you work with your system admin, we prefer to put all of the pixels inside of Google Tag Manager. It basically creates this little box that puts it right inside of your website that will load lots of different pixels. So we like to take all of our tracking pixels, put them inside Tag Manager, and have Tag Manager help take care of all of our tracking. Now this is really set up on your system admin site. We love Tag Manager, but I'll just be very transparent with you. My business partner sets all of this up. So there's a couple of different points where to set up the individual tags for the different options of where people take on your site. And you can see it's a really easy place to put some base code. And really just a couple of really quick videos can show you how to install Google Tag Manager. A lot of the times I just go straight to YouTube because they update the interface so much. It's pretty easy just to grab the code and install. And you can see set up standard events work very much exactly like Facebook. See, Facebook and Google are even starting to use the same type of terminology, so we're all in the same wheelhouse as we're going about this. All right, Facebook even has something really cool. Now this is new. This is within a couple of months, depending when you're watching this video. But what's really exciting is people will click on Open Event Setup Tool. Now when they click Open Event Setup Tool, watch this. This is fun. You literally just put in your website. This makes it almost like it's an IQ test. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. When I look at code, my eyes cross, I get confused. This makes it fun, easy, and exciting for me. So watch this. Again, I like to make a joke about it, but it's almost like an IQ test. All you're gonna do is you're gonna put in your website, and then once your website pulls up, it's gonna say, okay, event tracking tool is working. Click button to set up your event. Okay. I want people, when they click this button right here, I want it to record initiate checkout. So when someone clicks join SMAG 2.0, it's going to register with Facebook that it's an initiate checkout. I don't even have to set up any code. I can literally put in my website, start clicking around, and tell Facebook every click I make, here's what I want it to show up in the report. Now let's talk about testing the pixel. What I'm about to show you here unequivocally should be rolled out to your entire team in the marketing department. There is no one in the marketing department that should not have this extension on their Chrome browser. What happens is you're going to go into your Chrome browser extensions and you're going to go ahead and type in Facebook Pixel Helper. What's going to happen is you're going to get this little blue code that's going to show up, this little blue icon that's going to show up on your browser. So this way, anybody in the marketing department can click on your website and see at the very top, right there where you see that arrow, oh, okay, I see there's the blue icon with a number right there, that green number. That's going to tell you how many pixels are there. So it's 1. And what's going to happen is it loads and it's going to show me, oh, okay, this is a page view. So if we go to Join SMAG and I go to that next sales page, I want to double check, is that pixel there? When I click on that little pixel helper, is it saying initiate checkout? Again, if there's only one person in your organization that has Pixel Helper that is installed, then that one person is going to see where the errors start to happen if the pixel's installed or if there's a loading error. In my opinion, in my professional opinion, everyone in your marketing department who is looking at landing pages, your website or sales pages should always have this installed on their browser. So everyone is accountable to raise their hand and to say, hey, that looks, because Facebook will tell you this, hey, there's a little warning sign that's come up. It said we must check out our pixel. I just wanted to alert somebody. I don't do that. Is somebody in our tech department, get everyone on board, because when the pixel starts tracking, I can't explain the world of chaos that can start to happen. So make sure you're always testing the pixel firing as well too. This is the way that you can test events really easy. Again, you put in your URL link and you can actually test what's going on right now. Now, what's important to understand is a lot of third parties are talking about removing third-party tracking. Apple's doing a lot of this right now. They want to really focus on privacy, which I think is great. You hear a lot of phone companies and phone manufacturers also talking about privacy. How are people able to be tracked? Well, on one side of it, people don't want to be tracked, but on the other side of it, you don't want to see ads for a nursing home if you're 30 years old. You don't want to see cremation ads if you're 20. Like there's a certain reason that we use tracking, and that is to make sure that ads are delivered that are highly relevant to the end user. Facebook has something that's called the first party pixel. See, what that means is because you're logged in on your desktop, on your laptop, on your iPad, on your iPhone, on your iWatch, whatever, Facebook knows what you're doing and what you're tracking and what's going on. So even if the iPhone was to block those cookies or that tracking, doesn't matter, your laptop's still up, your iPad's still up, or whatnot. So what Facebook is basically saying is this: tracking's going to be not as accurate as it used to be before. So we really have to start tracking influence. So remember, as a lot of these people are saying that they're getting rid of tracking pixels, well, Facebook's the first party. They're not the third party. They're not a third independent site. So tracking is actually a little bit easier with Facebook. But again, if we're only measuring clicks, we got to be measuring influence, because Facebook's not going to be able to track all clicks, but they'll be able to track influence. Also, what's going to happen is once we get this pixel really rocking and rolling, the power of 5 is going to take hold. What's going to happen is they have advanced matching. When you go back in the pixel area in settings, you want to make sure you click on settings and you're going to see advanced matching. I don't know why, but a lot of people have this turned off. Make sure that you turn it on. It's right here. So we want to turn on advanced matching, because Facebook's going to be able to match people not only with a pixel, but this email matches up with this person, phone number, first, last name, city, state, zip, gender, unlock all of those. So that way Facebook can figure out all the pieces and really make that tracking work, again, way outside of clicks. So assignment. Do you have standard or custom events tracking specific actions that users may take through your funnels? Do you have that all set up? If not, take some time to identify what actions you may want to track and optimize for your Facebook ads, and then set up tracking events for each one of those actions. In this lesson, we discussed what the Facebook pixel is and how it tracks your site visitors. We also showed you how to set up the pixel across several platforms and how to test to make sure it's working. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next section.